Welcome, dear friend, to Arkham Horror, the card game. This is episode 5 of our Path to Carcosa blind playthrough. Episode 5 out of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is the halfway point. 5 doesn't seem... Episode 5 doesn't seem like it would be halfway through an 8-episode series, does it? But it is. In fact, I just counted on my fingers. Last episode, we just, by the skin of our teeth, so I'm sure, in actuality, we cheated somewhere, and actually we should have just got wiped out. But it seemed to be on the screen that by the skin of our teeth we escaped Arkham Asylum on the last action of the last turn of both investigators. Their final action was a resign. Unfortunately, though, Akachi did pick up one physical trauma because she couldn't deal with her weakness in time. So we definitely paid the price. What we paid the price for, really, is fannying around and just not going for the objective, really. I wanted to explore the whole map. Maybe that's a lesson learned, or maybe we'll just continue to waste far too much time exploring maps because I like looking at new locations and I like seeing what game mechanics they've shoved into each scenario. Something that is good good in comparison to Akachi's bad trauma is the 10 experience we got from the last scenario. I think 2 of that was from heeding Daniel's warning. 1 of it was from just generally escaping the asylum, and then 7 was from victory points. 2 delved too deeps, and then there were 5 from, various locations. But 10 experience points to spend in between scenarios, so I'll take you over to Arkham Build and we'll see what we picked up. It was an absolute shopping bonanza. I had a wonderful time. On William Yorick, we picked up another charisma, meaning we have 2, which is the max amount, so we can have 3 allies out at once now. We picked up another level 2 Peter Sylvester. We have 2 of those. We upgraded a Vicious Blow to a level 2 Vicious Blow. That means we have 1 upgraded Vicious Blow now, and we'll upgrade the other one shortly, I imagine. We upgraded a Lucky to a Lucky level 2. This was for card draw. That's kind of how I thought about this. Seems like William Yorick, Akachi has great card draw because of Arcane Initiate. I really felt like we're struggling with seeing cards and seeing items to actually play on William Yorick, so I thought Lucky was the way to go about that. Then, interestingly, I guess to make space for Peter Sylvester, we got rid of a Cherished Keepsake. Even though Cherished Keepsake is seemingly core on William Yorick because you can keep recurring it, we still have 1 left in our deck. We still have 1 of these, Mr. Teddy Bear. But it seems to me like, for our allies, we'll probably, the ideal ally setup would be 2 Beat Cops and 1 Peter Sylvester, which means our horror, or our sanity damage, is somewhat taken care of. Not completely, so we've left 1 Cherished Keepsake in, and we haven't got anything else to put in the accessory slot yet, though we would honestly like to have a police badge in there. Even though police badge can't soak horror damage, it kind of has a stealth sanity boost in that it is it turns William Yorick into a 4-head investigator rather than 3, so it gives him some kind of defense against the Mythos stack. And also, obviously, just discard to get 2 actions is wonderful stuff. And if you can recur this without spending an action, it's crazy tech. Feels very strong to me. That's Yorick's upgrade. I think next time we'll look for a police badge and a relic hunter and then upgrade this Vicious Blow into level 2 Vicious Blow. And then apart from that, honestly, this deck is, I feel like it's almost complete. We could chuck in a scrapper so that we got something to spend some money on in tests, and then chuck in a Eucatastrophe just to make sure that we succeed on a test that we need to succeed on. I'm not quite sure, but we'll think about that afterwards. On Akachi Onyeli, we had to pick up, well, we didn't have to, but I decided to pick up a bulletproof vest. This goes in our body slot, which didn't actually have anything in, so it wasn't competing for that slot, and it soaks up 4 physical damage. Now that we have a physical trauma, we are on 5 health to start off with, which is really dicey. Doesn't feel good, especially when we don't have health soak from other sources. So hoping Bulletproof Vest will mitigate that danger. We upgraded 2 of our Fearlesses at once into level 2 Fearlesses. They now commit for effectively a Guts. They get +1 head than the level 0 version. And if the skill test is successful by 2 or more, that means you heal 2 horror. So just all round better. That's a bit of a redundant thing to say. They're upgraded, so they're probably going to all round be better. We chucked in a Relic Hunter. Now, why a Relic Hunter? Because we only have Holy Rosaries. We're going to wear 2 Holy Rosaries at once. What's better than 1 Holy Rosary, 2 Holy Rosaries? That would put Akachi up to a 7 base head, which is just despicable. And of course, to fit in that bulletproof vest, we had to get rid of something. We chose to get rid of Torrent of Power. On Akachi, we have a little bit more room to upgrade. We have more avenues to upgrade than it seems we have on Yorick. We still have to upgrade our spells, so we're gonna commit to doing that over the next couple of scenarios. To upgrade all 4 of our spells to their max level, it would cost us 18 experience though, so it will have to happen over some time. Blood Pact is a kind of luxury, it feels like, especially because we're getting so many natural head boosts with the Holy Rosaries and, I guess, Spirit Athame. We might not need it. Anyway, those are our decks. They feel, what can I say, they feel strong-ish. I don't really have anything to compare Akachi to, mystic-wise. William Yorick feels, I would say, strong, slightly stronger than Zoe, and noticeably stronger than Roland Banks. Those are the two kind of, I know he's a survivor, but he's like a Guardian survivor. That's what I've got to compare him to. Right, let's get you back to TTS and let's get reading. Let's go straight into the scenario guide. We are on Scenario 5, A Phantom Truth. It has been several weeks since the events in the asylum, and you are still no closer to the truth about the King in Yellow and Carcosa. You have scoured the city for signs of the others Daniel had mentioned, the ones who are opening the path to Carcosa, but found nothing. Either the trail has gone cold, or they're no longer in Arkham. Perhaps Daniel truly was insane, and you were only following him deeper down the rabbit hole. Every night you toss and turn as you were subjected to vivid dreams of Carcosa, its black stars, twin suns, shattered moons and twisted spires. Continue to dream one, don't get lost. You fall through the empty abyss of Hali. Creatures of unknown and impossible origin lurk just beyond the darkness of your sight. He looms above you, magnificent and yet bound in his prison of madness, manipulating your torturous descent with a sole outstretched arm. We have something to do here. Each investigator has earned the Lost Soul weakness. Shuffle one copy of this weakness into each investigator's deck. Is that in the set asides? Oh, it is. Wonderful. Let's put one of them. That is just one, right? That is one. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. And then the other one in Akachi's. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Constance takes your hand and pulls you onto the polished dance floor. Come now. Don't be shy. Tonight is a night for dancing, for celebration. We have to check the campaign log. If the king claimed its victims, I don't remember that. I don't remember intruding. I did slay the monsters, and if none of the above are true, so we go to page 110. Smoke and embers float upwards into the starless night sky. The screams of burning creatures fill you with a horrid sense of accomplishment. They almost sound human, you consider, but you know that isn't true. Each investigator suffers one mental trauma. It's a little scary for Yorick. The lights of the theatre dim, and a spotlight shines on the stage. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, the creature exclaims. Its many tentacles reach across the stage, up into the rafters and throughout the aisles. It tears the curtains down, and tattered red cloth falls over its bulbous form. The police are not suspicious of us because we didn't rob the box office, so we go to Dream 8. What was that? Dream 8, 106. You peer into the mirror, and the stranger peers back at you. His gaze drills into your mind. The mirror shatters. We have 4 tally marks for chasing the stranger, so we go to Dream 10. You chase the stranger up a steep staircase of broken stone, a torrent of rain crashing upon your back as you run. Lighting flashes in the distance. A vortex of swirling black clouds looms above you, threatening to swallow the whole world. The masked man dashes through a wide set of doors atop the stairs, and you follow close behind. The sound of crashing thunder is muffled as the doors close behind you. Looking up, you see a familiar depiction in stained glass. Beautiful, is it not? The stranger says quietly. I don't think we take an argumentative stance. How can any of this be beautiful to you? Because I think from these dream sequences, it says we do find this kind of all magnificent and a bit wondrous. So if I say, what exactly am I looking at? You peer up at the stained glass, curious. What is the shape of the shadow along the window? What is the meaning behind this strange design? Mark 1 doubt, that's our first doubt. Daniel's voice calls out to you. They are opening the path to Carcosa. Awaken. You awaken from your fitful dream, sweating and gagging. This cannot go on any longer. You have only one option if you are to continue your investigation. You must find Nigel Engram, director of the King in Yellow and architect of this madness. Only he will have the answers you seek. You pack your bags and plan your trip to Paris, the city of lights. Ooh, we're going globe-trotting. Jordan Perry was not interviewed, I'm pretty sure, because we didn't have the cash for it. Yeah, correct. Ooh, it's the setup. Okay, the encounter sets will have been gathered. Check the campaign log. If you have more or equal doubt the conviction, well, I have more conviction by a country mile. So if we have more conviction than doubt, search the gathered encounter sets for both copies of Black Star's Rise and both copies of False Lead and remove them from the game. Okay. They aren't there. Oh! Did it know? Did it set us up? Did it read our campaign log? Both copies of Black Star's Rise and both copies of False Lead, or are they in the set aside? They are not in the set aside. I have to assume it's read our campaign log and helped our setup somehow. Let me just check again. Am I being stupid? Black Star's Rise and False Lead. Oh, they're both not there. What can you do? During this scenario, use Act 1, the Parisian Conspiracy version 2. Okay. Ooh, where's our act deck? Oh, what's happening? Oh, I see. There's some bags. Doubt or equal? No. Conviction. This is the bag that we want to take. Add to encounter deck. I see. I'm, as usual, being a little stupid. Rotate. Oh, come on, rotate, please. Flip. Rotate. Thank you. And this is the act deck that we use. Wow. Where's it gone? No. It's been disappeared. Okay, it's behind. Fear not, guys, fear not. All is well, don't panic. Never panic. I'm the kind of guy that never panics. I love that, though. They've made it so simple for us to set up. Check your campaign log. If he's not listed slain, he is listed as slain. Because we unfortunately burned him alive. Choose one of the two Montmartre locations, one of the two Opéra Garnier locations, and one of the two Le Marais locations at random. Put the chosen locations into play. Remove the other versions of those locations from the game. Montmartre. Where are you? The middle one. Well, let's remove the top one from this. The Opéra Garnier and Le Marais. Let's remove the top one from Le Marais. And let's remove it's removing both. Let's remove the bottom version of Opéra Garnier. Put the remaining locations into play in that orientation that's been done for us, and everyone begins play at Gare d'Orsay, which is where? Ooh, onto the left, the train station. God, that is beautiful, isn't it? Not a big fan of colonization and imperialization and, just general empire and projecting your power across the globe in increasingly nebulous ways. But I do have to admit, turn-of-the-century Europe had some beautiful buildings. It's a hot take, isn't it? Not a big fan of colonization. Hot takes. You only get hot takes here. At the Gare d'Orsay. Built in 1900, this train station was the first urban station in the world to use only electric trains. I don't even know if this is real or whether they've just come up with this. But I have seen buildings like that. 4 shroud, and there are 2 clues. You can spend an action to spend 1 resource, move to any rail location. Cool. You'd expect the station to be bustling, but it is eerily abandoned, save for a few passengers who wander the station in slow, meandering steps. And it's got a heart icon. That's cute, isn't it? Set the double-sided organist enemy aside, out of play. If there are any remaining copies, remove them. Shuffle the remainder of the encounter cards to build the encounter deck. Shuffle. Let's also shuffle our player decks. And then we can almost get started, but we have to look at the scenario reference card very quickly. Skull is -X. X is the amount of doom in play, max 5. Cultist -2. If you fail, move each unengaged Biyaki in play once towards the nearest investigator. Tablet, -3. Cancel the effects and icons of each skill card committed to this test. The Elder Thing, which we do have 2 of now. If you fail, lose 1 resource for each point you failed by. Ooh, that could be really nasty. Keeping us cash poor. The agenda and the act, and then I think we actually have to take stock of the map before we do anything. But let's read these through. Agenda 1A. The first night. As you step off the train in Gare d'Orsay, the sun sinks below the Paris skyline. You cannot waste any time. If Nigel Engram is somewhere in Paris, you have to find him and wring the answers from him one way or another. While you have more conviction than doubt, this agenda gains. When checking the Doom threshold, Doom on cards other than this agenda subtract from the total Doom in play, instead of adding to it. Well, that's interesting. This will take 6 Doom to move on. We do have more conviction than doubt by a large margin, as I said earlier, so this will probably always apply. Act 1A. The Parisian Conspiracy. Version 2. You pass the Church of Saint Barnabé as you exit the train station and cannot help but overhear the organ playing. Is there a sermon this late in the evening? You marvel at the wild and strange chords for a moment before continuing. Paris is a big city, and you have very few leads. Couple of objectives here. Spend the requisite number of clues to advance. Well, I could have told you that. 4 clues. And our other objective at the end of the round, if there are 3 or more Doom in play, advance. Well, I don't really understand all this Doom stuff, but let's see how it manifests when we actually play the game. Right, so what are we trying to do? We're trying to advance the act deck. So we're trying to collect clues. That's a constant, pretty much. But also, we're trying to put Doom into play, somehow. We do have Arcane Initiate in this, in Akachi's deck, so that might come to pass. But is there any indication here of where we would like to go? Ooh, probably not the Canal Saint-Martin. Probably not the cemetery that looks like it's been broken out of from the inside as well. Or, turn it on its head, we are playing Arkham Horror, maybe that's exactly the place where we do want to go. We don't really see any indication here of where we should be going. Everywhere's kind of connected. The only connection missing is this one between Montmartre and Gardens of Luxembourg. It's odd, isn't it? The words that you try to pronounce in the proper way just because it's fun, but then Luxembourg, I could try and say that in a slightly German, slightly French accent, but it's just not as exciting as a full French for the other words. There is probably some creepy stuff going on in this neon uplit Notre Dame Cathedral, though. Okay, as usual, I am a fool and I completely misunderstood what this agenda deck was talking about. We want to move the agenda deck on. So I fundamentally misunderstood this. I'm embarrassed. I've reset the scenario. Unfortunately, we moved to Notre Dame, we moved to Montparnasse, we moved to Opera Garnier, and we moved to Grand Guignol. So there is not, these locations we're not going into blind, unfortunately. But we didn't really get far into the scenario. I couldn't bear having such an awful start where I was working against my own, intentions, I suppose. The less said about it, the better. We shuffle, and we draw our initial hands. 5 for Yorick, 5 for Akachi. Right. A weakness on Akachi, let's redraw that. Okay, these hands are not as good as what I had on the first time round. Nowhere near, I don't think. Prepared for the worst can go. 45 automatic and knife in the opening hand. Is that good? Honestly, probably is fine. And evidence, what we would really like to see here is something like a look what I found, rather than an evidence, or an ally like William Yorick. So, like William Yorick. What a narcissist. Like Peter Sylvester. But I mean, it's also not bad. You know what, let's keep it. It's a way to get clues. We just redraw 1. And it is a beat cop. This is an ally. It's not the one we necessarily wanted, but that's fine. On Akachi, we have drawn Shriveling. We'll keep that. Astral Travel we can remove. Torrent of Power we can remove. Spirit Speaker, I actually think we get rid of that. And a Spirit Athame, we also get rid of that. What we're really looking for is a Rite of Seeking in our initial hand. There you go. And a Drawn to the Flame. So this, all this, going back and forth about evidence and is it better than Look What I Found, doesn't really matter because we're so heavy on the getting clues with Akachi. Right, Yorick's first hand is Evidence, Knife, Emergency Cash upgraded, 45 automatic upgraded, Beat Cop upgraded. Akachi is Shriveling, Spirit Athama, Drawn to the Flame, Rite of Seeking, and a Holy Rosary. Now this actually is a sick starting hand, to be honest. So I don't know what I was complaining about. Actually, you know what I will do? There's a different version of Opera Garnier. Let's use the other version of Opera Garnier so I don't feel like I'm cheating too badly. Is there another version of Grand Guignol? No. It's Montmartre and Le Marais, which we didn't go to. Alright, so we've mixed it up a little bit, although we know what's at Grand Guignol and Montparnasse and Notre Dame, actually. Okay, we take our setup. First we shuffle these back into the decks. We take our setup turn. Now, what do we want to do on our setup turn? Of course, we want to get a Rite of Seeking into play on Akachi. Let's take... She can only play Rite of Seeking and then nothing else. That's a bit scary. So I guess we want to keep her close to Yorick just to start off with. In fact, you know what we do? We take Yorick's turn first, because he can play Emergency Cash to get some money and to see another card, which is important. Oh, it's a knife. Not what we want to see. Not what we want to see at all. He then puts into play a knife, 2 actions, and then he puts into play a beat cop or a 45 automatic. I would say a beat cop. So he's now 3 resources, and that's his first turn finished. Then for Akachi, it's a Rite of Seeking job, takes 4 resources. It is then also a Drawn to the Flame job, probably, to get these clues, or a Rite of Seeking. Tell you what we do, I think we draw a card with our second action. It's a Ward of Protection, and then for our final action we play use a charge of Rite of Seeking and test 5 versus 4 is not good. No, we don't do that. Let's use that Drawn to the Flame. We want to secure the 2 clues. I think that's more important than a 5 versus 4 test. Just doesn't feel good. I gave them to Akachi. I gave them to Yorick, sorry. That's Akachi's turn finished. We move on to the enemy phase. Thankfully, there are none. We move on to the upkeep phase. Ooh, Silver Twilight Acolyte. That is not what you want to see. Well, it goes straight into play. 3 health as well, just that annoying amount, so we have to use a charge of Beat Cop to deal with it. But nice enough, we did draw an Emergency Cash upgraded on Akachi, which is... I'd say that's probably exactly what we wanted. It would have been that or an Uncage the Soul. Righto, Mythos phase, we add a Doom. We draw encounter cards. Shuffle, 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 just in case I forgot. I drew 2. Okay. Spies of Carcosa comes out second, right? So first comes the... Swift Byaku. Okay, we'll do one at a time. Swift Byaku, 2, 3, and 2. It goes on us. Again, it's 3 health, which is gross. We haven't really got any soak out yet. I don't like this doubling up of enemies already. When Swift Byaku would move via the Hunter keyword, instead move it 1 location at a time until it enters its prey location, so you can't get away from this. But if it did move more than 1 location, it doesn't attack this phase. That's something, I suppose. I don't like it, though. I do not like it at all. And then we pulled a Spire of Carcosa attached to your location, that's here. Then place 2 Doom on that location. Well, that Doom is bad because it moves. It's going against what we want to happen, but we can't clear it out because there's no clues here now. Shit. And also, at the end of the round, if there are 3 or more Doom in play, advance. Christ. So, we need to be advancing. I do know what's on the other side of this act deck, by the way. I did see it. We need to be getting 2 clues sharpish somewhere and somehow so that we can move this on via the clue method. Right, nasty stuff with the Swift Byaku and also nasty stuff with the Spires of Carcosa, honestly. We go into our turn, finally. What would we rather get rid of, Silver Twilight Acolyte or Swift Byaku? Silver Twilight Acolyte, 100%, because it adds Doom to the... Ooh! Oh! Place 1 Doom on the current agenda. That's what we want. Do we sit here and just soak Silver Twilight Acolyte's attacks to move the game onwards? That is fucking fascinating. Let's try it. We haven't got any ways to investigate places, so there's no real point moving too far away. Let's just see if we can tank a couple of hits with Silver Twilight Acolyte. William Yorick can tank hits. They can go on the Beat Cop as well. It would be really nice to have a leather coat out though, wouldn't it? Right, anyway, the point is, Swift Byaku needs to get dealt with, that's for sure. We exhaust Beat Cop to do a damage to Beat Cop and to deal damage to Swift Byaku. We then throw away our knife and we say we're testing 7 versus 2. Anything but an auto fail. It is a 0, that is beautiful. Swift Byaku gets dealt with. We then get to recur the knife, of course paying the cost, and that was an action. After it, we could draw cards and take. Actually, we at the end of the doom at the end of the round. This is so interesting. Let's sit here and draw a card and take the attack of opportunity. One card, Peter Sylvester. We also take a damage from Silver Twilight Acolyte. Doom goes up. This is crazy. That is, of course, our second action. Then with our third action, do we get a Peter Sylvester into play? Probably. I think that's valid because then we're more shored up against the encounter deck when we're already sort of taking damage from Silver Twilight Acolyte. Yeah, let's get a Peter Sylvester out. We take another attack of opportunity and we add another Doom to the agenda. Wow. This is so interesting. That is William Yorick's turn finished and he has no money left. That's the only negative. Akachi. Now Akachi needs, it's very, very important that Akachi gets clues here. So how does she do that? Does she go up or does she go down? Is the question. I know what's at Notre Dame, so let's say we go down so that we could potentially, basically you can spend an action to do a difficult test, to be fair here, but it adds a Doom to the agenda. So because we got this Spies of Carcosa at a location that we can't investigate, or is difficult to investigate at least because it's Force Shroud, if you can investigate when there's no clues, it still feels bad because it's such a high Shroud location. We want to move the agenda deck on as fast as we possibly can, so we'd like to get to Notre Dame. Right. Akachi moves 1 over with her first action. Bang. She flips this over the Gardens of Luxembourg. The Gardens of Luxembourg Palace contain hundreds of scattered statues, monuments, and fountains. It would make for a relaxing walk if you hadn't come here to escape the winged creatures that screech and soar in the dark sky ahead. Not sure why we'd be escaping winged creatures in the sky by going to an open-air garden, but that's fine. We flip it over. 3 Shroud and 2... I see victory points. So Wooga, 2 clues here. While a Byakhee enemy is moving, if there is an investigator at Gardens of Luxembourg, shit. Well, there is. That enemy's location is considered to be connected to Gardens of Luxembourg. Okay, so this is a way to draw them here. Right. We have 2 cash. What shall we do with the 2 cash? Let's put a Holy Rosary into play. Takes us down to nothing. And then with our final action, we investigate. And we really hope we don't draw a symbol here. But we're testing 6 versus 3. So -3's an up, but no symbol, please. There's a 0. Sometimes it just works. Akachi gets 2 clues. Whoops. Put them on Akachi. And then we spend all these clues to advance the act deck. Act 1. B. True evil. The organ you heard earlier continues to haunt you. No matter where you are, the torturous chords play over and over in your head. The sensation that you are being watched tugs at your mind. Of course, also we should have removed a Rite of Seeking, correct? Yes. It says, spawn the set aside the organist enemy at the location farthest from all investigators, which is said something about being side up. Hopeless, I defied him, side up, yes. Now, where is farthest from all investigators? Akachi is here. 1, 2, 3 is Pierre Lachasse. 1, 2, 3 is Grand Guignol. And Yorick is 1, 2, 3, 4. It will be at this cemetery, I'm sure. Then we advance to Act 2, Stalked by Shadows. Act 2, Stalked by Shadows. I knew that every time I met him brought him nearer to the accomplishment of his purpose and my fate. And still I tried to save myself. Right, lightning bolt action, spend, 2 clues as a group. Either place 1 Doom on the current agenda or automatically evade the organist. And we have an objective to survive 3 nights. Do not advance until you are instructed. Now, because of this, I'll show you something. Because of this player window in the enemy phase, hunter enemies move, and then there's a lightning bolt player window. You can spend these clues as the hunter enemy gets into your location, but before it does any damage to you. So that's what we'll aim to be doing here. I mean, if we've got no other option. But the problem is, and you'll see here, it's 5 health. 5 fight. You can't do any damage to him, and he's got 3 boot. Hunter cannot be damaged. Forced. After the organist moves from the hunter keyword, if it is unengaged, resolve its hunter keyword again. But the organist cannot attack this phase, which... that is interesting. That's an interesting push-pull there. And it does 3 sanity damage. So all we have to do is run away from him. And honestly, I'm not that excited with our 3 boot on both investigators, and we haven't really included many boosts. Actually, I guess we have Peter Sylvester on Yorick. We are a 4 boot at the moment. Anyway, enough of that. It is the enemy phase. What happens? Silver Twilight Acolyte does a damage to us and increases the Doom on the agenda deck. And we're already at 4, but we're actually at 2, so we need 4 more to get to this 6. Then the Organist moves once, because he's coming towards us, and then he moves again, terrifyingly enough. The upkeep phase, we have drawn, prepared for the worst on Yorick. It's not what we wanted to see at all. I guess it's just a fist boost at this point. And a blinding light. Ooh, this is actually quite cool. A blinding light on Akachi. We don't mind this. So if we can run away from the Organist 2 locations, so to Garda Orsay, he will chase us, he will get to our location, but he won't attack us, he'll just be engaged with us, and then we could use Blinding Light to evade him with a much higher chance of success than we normally would have, and then we can start moving elsewhere. That's probably what we do here, I think. Anyway, not yet. It is the Mythos phase. We add a Doom to the Doom counter, and we draw some cards. Deadly Fate. Test 3 head. Okay, do we want to boost this? Well, we can't boost it. Oh, we're testing 4 versus 3. Okay. We got a -2. We fail. Oh, discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until an enemy is discarded. You must either draw that enemy or that enemy attacks you from the discard pile. If no enemy is discarded, take 1 horror instead. Okay, I'm just checking. Is there anything to recur in the discard pile? There isn't. Well, this is nasty. Okay. Let's get discarding. It is. Ooh. Screeching Byaki. It has a victory point on it, but that normally means that it's harder to deal with. 3/4/3. While engaged with an investigator with 4 sanity or less, that doesn't matter. 3/4/3 is actually not too bad for a victory point, though its attack is pretty nasty here. 1 health and 2 sanity damage. This will take us our whole turn to deal with, unfortunately, because we'll have to succeed twice with knife, and then we'll have to succeed once with throwing knife away. And we don't want to get attacked from our discard pile. That seems nasty. Akachi draws. Wow. Did I shuffle this? I check that every single time I draw 2 in a row. Yes, I did. Okay, we're actually going to probably succeed on this because it's 6 versus 3. Do we want to throw anything at it? No, not really. 6 versus 3 is good enough. -1. Okay, don't worry about this card. Investigation phase. Now, we had a plan here, didn't we? Now, unfortunately, I have revealed information about Notre Dame and Montparnasse, and I know that there's no victory points here. So I'm not that focused, or I'm not laser focused at least, on clearing out all the clues. Most important is that we lure the Organist to Garda Orsay, I think. But now, what do we do? But now how do we do that? Do we go one movement here, Montparnasse, and get greedy with clues, which we have to take down to 0, of course? Or do we just go straight to Garda Orsay and play an emergency cash and then play a shriveling and be in a really nice situation to deal with anything that comes our way? I think it is too risky to go to Montparnasse because we could, of course we're going to use Rite of Seeking, we could draw a symbol, then we'd be stuck here. And then the Organist would come over and he would attack us. Right. We move once with Akachi. We then do what we said we would do, which is play an emergency cash to get 3 resources and to draw a card. This is strong. A grotesque statue, that's really nice. But is it nicer than a shriveling? That's the question. Let's say that Yorick is going to fight for now, and let's get out a grotesque statue. Therefore, if we need to evade anything, we have a better chance to do so. Yes, grotesque statue is more important. That way we can make sure we definitely evade the Organist when he comes over. Right, that was a final action and 2 resources. Yorick does what we said he would do, which is just attack the Screeching Banshee over and over again. He's testing 6 versus 3. -3s and up, that's kind of all we can do. Or do we throw away a knife? You know what? We throw away a knife, and we really need to deal with this. It's very important. So we need to be testing 7 versus 3. Anything but an auto fail. -3, this is good. 1 damage on the Screeching Byaki. Then we throw away a Prepared for the Worst, and we test with the normal knife again. 7 versus 3. anything but an auto-fail. It's close, but it's not an auto-fail. That's 2 damage and 2 actions spent. We also should actually exhaust Beat Cop, do damage to him, and do 1 damage to Silver Twilight Acolyte, so he's kind of, prepped to be killed, I guess. Then we throw away Knife, testing 7 versus 3, anything but an auto-fail. It is a -1. What? I thought -1 was a fail for a second. Screech and Byaku goes up. The damage on Screech and Byaku goes up. Screech and Byaku dies. We flip over this reaction and we take back our Knife, of course paying the cost, which is 1, which takes us down to absolute destitutory. And then that's our turn over, which just feels dreadful, honestly. But we got rid of Screech and Byaku and we need to put it in our victory display. That is everyone's turn finished. The enemy phase, Silver Twilight Acolyte attacks us. We don't love it, but we don't hate it either, because it moves on the Doom. Now we're on 6 - 2, 4. So we're close to moving this onwards. But unfortunately, the Organist comes once here and then once here, and he engages Akachi. Does he engage Akachi? He engages someone. Yeah, let's say Akachi. Then she uses this spell. She has the money, then she moves away, probably. Or we could try to evade him with William Yorick, and we'd be testing 4 versus 3, which is not that good. Yeah, we put him on Akachi, that's fine. Luckily, though, he doesn't attack us because of this, the card text. Righto, upkeep. Emergency cash on Yorick upgraded and a drawn to the flame on Akachi. Not bad at all. Mythos phase. We're in the witching hour, technically, unless any more Doom comes out. We draw a yellow sign on Yorick. We're testing 4 versus 4 head. If you fail, take 2 horror. We don't care if we take 2 horror because we just chuck it all on Peter Sylvester. Okay, test. Oh, you don't say. An Elder Sign, so we succeed against the yellow sign, don't even have to think about that again. And we get a card from our discard pile. There's nothing crazy in there. But an emergency cash, that wouldn't go down so bad, would it? Oi, oi, oi. This Elder Sign, it's got to be one of the strongest in the game. Akachi draws Torturous Chords. I see a big number on this. 5 head. Test 5 head. If you fail, put Torturous Chords into play in your threat area with 1 resource on it for each point you failed by. Each time you play a card, increase the cost of that card by 1 and remove 1 resource from Torturous cards. Well, if it has no resources, discard it. Well, this would be disgusting to fail. What we're going to do, we're going to use a grotesque statue, because if we auto-failed this, it would come in with 5 charges, which would be completely unacceptable, basically. It's like losing 5 resources. But we don't even lose 5 resources now, which would only take us to 0, then we could build back up. It's like a delayed punishment. Anyway, we test twice. 6 versus 5. Do we want to commit anything? Nah, 6 versus 5 is fine. -1. Well, -1's a success. Could we get an Elder Sign, perhaps? No. -1 is 5. Torture -1 is 5. -1 is fine, nah, and Torturous Chords gets discarded. Now is probably the time to be dealing with Silver Twilight Acolyte, I have to say, because the Witching Hour is gonna move. This agenda deck is gonna move on in the next turn, so that means that Spires of Carcosa ceases to be a problem for now, and we'd actually like to stop with the trickle damage of the Silver Twilight Acolyte, I think. So, to do that, we attack the Silver Twilight Acolyte with our knife. We're testing 7 versus 2. 7 versus 2, anything but an auto-fail. Oh my god, I was gonna cry. A skull is minus however much doom is in play. There's 9, but specifically it says max 5. And we were 7 versus 2, so we succeed by the skin of our teeth, mind, but we do succeed nonetheless. The knife comes back, and we pay the cost. That could have been really, really nasty, actually. Then we move away in a direction. Which direction? Do we want to go far away like La Marie or Notre Dame? I think we do the standard movements. Would actually be nice to get an emergency cash into play. First, though, we can't move far away because we don't have the resources. Right, let's move once to get away from this location, which we know we want to do. To the Opera Garnier. The Palais Garnier is an ornate architectural masterpiece and one of the most famous opera houses in the world. Strangely, you find the main doors thrown wide open, and a dark mist creeps out from the doorway. This is a 5 shroud, and there are 2 clues here. While you're investigating, Opera Garnier doubled the number of skill icons on cards committed to the skill test. Interesting, not something that we'll be doing on William Yorick, I can assure you. Assure you. A trail of blood leads up the grand staircase. Deep, cold mist envelops the room. You get the unmistakable feeling that there is something inhuman in the Opera House. This would be a time to use a Drawn to the Flame, I think. But that's Akachi's turn, we don't worry about her. We moved here once, then we play an emergency cache to get 3 resources and to draw a card. We draw on the hunt. Honestly, it's not great. It's not what we wanted to see. What did we want to see? Not sure, but it wasn't on the hunt. I guess a look what I found would have been ideal. Yorick's turn is finished. Now we know what we must do on Akachi. We don't want to test 3 versus 3 twice. We do unfortunately have to commit a blinding light here, which does cost money. We're then testing 6 versus 3 twice, though, because we need to not draw a symbol and we need to succeed. 6 versus 3, let's go. -1 is good enough. Can we get an Elder Sign? -1, not bad. We can't get an Elder Sign, but that's fine. The Organist gets evaded. Akachi could technically do 1 damage to him if he could take any damage, but he can't. We then move once to the Opera Garnier. Not using a Drawn to the Flame, oh, this is difficult. I don't want to use it this turn because then we can't deal with an enemy if it comes out. Maybe this is when you do a Rite of Seeking. At the moment we're testing 6 versus 5, but if we got rid of something, one of these two, no, that can't be right. Yeah, this is a next turn jobby. This is a Drawn to the Flame next turn. Now for this turn, what do? We sit here and we either gain a resource or we draw a card. I think we draw a card. Why not? Delve too deep. Oh, you tempt me, game, you tempt me. That's everyone's turn finished. It is the enemy phase. What happens? Nothing. It is the upkeep phase. What happens? We draw Cherished Keepsake on Yorick, that's nice to have, and a Fearless on Akachi. Well, we don't need it yet, but we might at some point. I am noticing that Yorick already has 4 health damage. That is a bit gross. We're halfway to death. And the Organist is, of course, upkept and ready to chase us next turn. The Mythos phase. Now, this is cool. I haven't moved this on yet, so we'll see what happens. We're now on 6 Doom total. We flip this over. Agenda 1B. Daybreak. Birds start to chirp eagerly. An orange tint slowly spreads across the sky as the creatures of the night shrink back into the darkness. You spend most of the day resting, and the daylight passes quickly with very little to show for it. Before you're able to fully recover from the previous night's events, it is evening once more. Each investigator disengages from each enemy engaged with him, no! And may move to a connecting location. Move the Organist 1 location away from the nearest investigator to a location with no investigators if possible. Balls! We didn't have to do all that blinding light stuff. Well, this is what happens when you know what's coming. Okay. Move the Organist 1 location away from the nearest investigator. That is, he's fine where he is. Balls. Some big efficiency that we missed out on there. Agenda 2A. The second night. The city stirs as cold shadows embrace the streets. There is danger all around you. Danger you cannot escape. Danger that will follow you to the ends of the earth. When will this waking nightmare end? And again, the doom subtracts from the agenda rather than adding to it. Okay, Spies of Carcosa can now hopefully get discarded, or thankfully get discarded. Only 5 doom to move this one on, so things are speeding up a bit. Right, encounter cards. Hunted by Byaki. Test 6 boot. It's not going to work. If you fail, reveal the top X cards of the encounter deck, X being the number you failed by. Okay. If at least 1 Byaki enemy is revealed by this effect, choose and draw one of them. If at least 1 Omen treachery is revealed by this effect, take 1 horror. Right. We're not going to throw anything at this, we're just going to see what happens. We test. Ooh! That means we only fail by 2 because there's no doom in play. Okay. What did it say? Reveal the top X cards of the encounter deck. The first one is Frozen in Fear. Second one is Twin Suns. They go back in the deck, and then we shuffle. Oh, was one of them an Omen? Shit, hang on. If at least 1 Omen treachery is revealed, okay, let's go back. Twin Suns is an Omen, I'm glad I checked. We have to take take 1 horror. That's fine. Put it on Peter Sylvester. Akachi draws Torturous Chords again. Okay, we're testing 6 versus 5. There's no point committing anything. 6 versus 5, we just see what happens. Okay, 4 versus 5. We lose a resource. We then also put this into play with 1 resource on it. So our next, whatever, the next card that we play costs 1 more. So a net loss of 2 resources on that one. Gross. Investigation phase. What do we want to do? I happen to know that this has victory points, so I'm going to move here with Akachi, that's for sure. But let's first move away with Yorick. There's no victory points on Opera Garnier, so I'm thinking I don't necessarily want to stay here too long. But if we go 1 here with Akachi, investigate, then go here, the Organist will move. Yeah, the Organist has to move 2. This is fine. Right, let's do it. Akachi moves once. Grand Guignol. Let's read the flavor text for your benefit. La Théâtre de Grand Guignol specializes in horror shows of a graphic and sometimes a moral nature. It is among the smallest venues in Paris, and one of the most popular. 3 shroud, and there are 2 clues. After you reveal Grand Guignol, you must either take 2 horror or shuffle all non-weakness cards from your hand into your deck, then draw an equal number of cards. It seems the theatre is performing a show about insanity. You wonder if they have ever performed The King in Yellow, and there's a little awooga in the bottom right. Now, the first time round, we were in such a dreadful place with this revelation effect because we had such a cool hand and we'd already taken a load of horror. But this time round, we can just chuck a couple of horror on ourselves to take us from 0 to 2 and we don't have to redraw this. I'd say this is a pretty damn good hand, or I'm happy with it anyway. Right, action. We then spend a charge of Rite of Seeking to make sure that we don't draw a symbol. We then spend a charge on Rite of Seeking, also spending a charge of Grotesque Statue, thus making sure we don't draw a symbol so we don't lose all our remaining actions. We are testing 6 versus 3. Twice. +1, this is good, and then we can try and draw an Elder Sign. -1, no. Okay. We succeed. 2 clues on Akachi, and then she has 1 action left, and with that action she will go to Montmartre. I think? Yeah, we can't do anything else. This is, you've heard this district to be vibrant and friendly, but the streets feel unusually lonely to you. Could that be because there is some kind of squid coming out of the right-hand side alleyway? 2 shroud, 2 resources. You can spend an action to spend a resource to add 1 supply or ammo token to a card you control. That's pretty cool. Cold rain pelts the street. Every alleyway you pass is another hiding place for something sinister. True that, true that. Akachi's turn is finished. Now, William Yorick. There's no way to get these clues, so don't even bother trying to stay on Opera Garnier. We move him once to Montmartre. We could spend an action to add a charge to something, but that doesn't really matter. We need to get this back. I don't think he stays here. We leave this for Akachi on the next turn. But how is she going to evade the Organist? I think this might be a time to spend spells. So the Organist is going to go 1-2. He doesn't attack us. But I think then we spend... Maybe we try to evade him. I'm not sure, but I do believe it is better for William Yorick to push forward and check out these other locations. Let's send him to the Canal Saint-Martin. This underground canal connects the River Seine to the Canal de l'Oc. An old, cracked staircase leads down to the canal's entrance. Seine, is it Seine or Seine? Seine, I think. 4 shroud, 2 clues, a wooga. After you evade an enemy at Canal Saint-Martin, move that enemy to a connecting location, limit once per round. Interesting. We moved once, we moved twice. Would it be ridiculous to... Oh, I know, I think what we need to do is put our other weapon into play here, really. Costs us a lot of resources, but that's fine. It also costs us our last action. Right, everyone is finished. The enemy phase. The Organist moves once. He then moves again, engages Akachi, but thankfully doesn't do any damage this time round. The upkeep phase. Look what I found. This is pretty sick. Not useful at Canal Saint-Martin, I don't think, unless we throw on the hunt, maybe, and an evidence, but that feels like a bit of a risk. Because we could end up succeeding, and then we'd have used all our resources to try to fail by Less than 2. And we'd be in a bit of a sticky spot. Okay, look what I found on Yorick, and an Arcane Initiate on... Arcane Initiate on Akachi. This is basically dead weight. We have our spells out, and all it would do is slow down the Doom moving forward. Anyway, Mythos. Add a Doom. Draw cards. You must either spend 1 clue or take 2 damage. Yikes, man, we take 2 damage. Shit. Now this is really scary now. We need to get our... Ooh, is this the time to play Ward of Protection? Yes, it is. We play our Ward of Protection. A non-weakness treachery card, that's what this is, correct? Yes. We take a horror, and we just cancel this. Because I'm scared, basically. We then draw on a... I need to get a leather coat out, that's very important. Akachi draws. Hunting Shadow for her as well. Well, we need to spend our clues to evade the Organist, so that's... We take the damage. Gross, what a horrible Mythos phase. Investigation. We spend our clues to evade the Organist, correct? The Organist comes here and we have spent both of our clues. 1, 2, or I should click the remove clues button, shouldn't I? Anyway, that was a free action, correct? Correct. Ah, we could spend clues on Doom, I see, so running past Opera Garnier was not great. Now we have a free turn, or kind of. We would like to use a Rite of Seeking to get both these clues on Montmartre. That's our first action. We do also spend a grotesque statue so we don't draw a symbol. That's a bit of a theme, isn't it? We're testing 6 versus 2. That is a symbol? Shit. And that is not a symbol, that is a 0. We get both clues, and it takes an action, and then we move away to where? To Canal Saint-Martin, I think. Bang. We then play a Drawn to the Flame here for our final action, but also even though it costs 0, we have to spend 1 resource because of this Torturous Chords, but Torturous Chords now gets discarded. And we do this so that we can get 2 clues testlessly, 1, 2, and then we have to pull an encounter card, which, ooh, twisted to his will. If there is no Doom in play, there is Doom in play. We test 1 head, where X is the amount of... Oh, sorry, we test... I knew there was 1 Doom. We test X head. X is the amount of Doom in play. There is 1 Doom, so we're testing 1 head. If you fail, discard 2 cards from your hand at random. 6 versus 1, we should be fine. It is an Elder thing, which is normally grosser than it is this time round, but we succeed. Right, what does Yorick do? He would like to play an emergency cash to get 3 resources and to draw a card, hoping that it's some kind of horror, hoping that it's some kind of physical damage, so it isn't, as you can see there. I guess we then just explore. We move him once to Pierre Lachasse Cemetery, the largest cemetery in Paris and its first garden cemetery. Pierre Lachasse is as beautiful as it is haunting. Only 1 shroud. There are 4 clues. After you successfully investigate Pierre Lachasse Cemetery, you cannot leave Pierre Lachasse Cemetery until the end of the round. Paths of stone wind through rows of graves and countless mausoleums. The dense, twisting cemetery has you trapped in a state of melancholy, surrounded by death on all sides. Awooga. We would like to clear this out, but not on this turn, because there's... Well, let's use to look what I found. Or, sorry, let's first investigate. 2 versus 1, see what happens. -1 to takes us to 0. Look what I found gets played or discarded, however you want to say. 2 cost, and then we get both the clues that we were after. And then it's halfway done. Peter Sylvester also should have healed this horror from himself. Okay, finished. Cool. Things are going all right. No enemies to move, the upkeep phase. Ready's the Organist, how scary. A Guts gets drawn on William Yorick, and our second Delve Too Deep on Akachi. Cool stuff, cool stuff. Mythos, we add a Doom and we draw encounter cards. Ooh, Stealthy Byaki. Nicely enough, it is on Yorick. Oh, this is great. So if we kill this Stealthy Byaki, we can play an evidence to get 1 clue, and then we can just just normally investigate to potentially get the other clue, because for once, Yorick could actually succeed it. Right, anyway, Akachi draws a yellow sign, testing 4 head. 6 versus 4, do we care about taking the horror? We kind of do, actually. So do we want to shore this up with something? Yes! Yes, we do. We throw into there a fearless level 2. So we're testing 8 versus 4. An elder an elder thing, which we would have succeeded with. But because we committed fearless, we get to heal ourselves 2 horror. This is such a better card when it got upgraded. Oh, 2 horror instead if it succeeds by 2 or more. This was 8 versus 4. Elder thing is -2. Okay, no, we did. That's fine. Right. Investigation. Do we want to catch you to move down to La Marais, or are we supposed to be luring the organist over to Pierre Lachasse Cemetery so he doesn't attack us and we can save our clues to move the Doom onwards? Potentially that's the way to do it. I think we move a catchy 1 here, action. We then play a Delve 2 Deep, drawing a card. We put this in the victory display. As always, I forget. It cost. I did spend 1 resource there, I think. We draw encounter cards. Firstly, it's frozen in fear on Yorick. That's gross. And for a catchy, we drew a stealthy Biaki. Christ. Okay. Well, what I was going to do was draw. draw another Delve 2 Deep, but that's not going to happen. Wow, we need to evade stealthy Biaki. 3 versus 3. Crap. I think it would be a grotesque statue charge here. Testing 3 versus 3 twice. Or do we just skip our turn? I mean, we're going to use Yorick to shoot the stealthy Biaki. That's the plan anyway. What can you do without triggering attacks of opportunity? Fight, evade, or parlay or resign. Well, we're not going to fight it. Let's try and evade it. 3 versus 3. Okay, man, let's use a grotesque statue. It's cheap. 2 costs for 5 charges. Not feeling good about this one, though. 3 versus 3. I don't feel good about that either, ironically. Is there an Elder Sign coming? There is absolutely not. The Stealthy Biaki gets evaded. That's crazy. So is this, actually. 12 versus 7. We haven't had an auto-fail in ages. Akachi then has an action to do something with what, though? I would say, I think we just get a resource or draw a card. How many emergency caches are left? Or how many uncage the souls? We have 1 emergency cache and 2 uncage the souls. I think it's probably better if it's safer to spend an action getting a resource, but I think it's better to spend an action getting oh, no, that's not fair. I need to shuffle this. 1. As long as it's not overzealous, we're fine. Bulletproof Vest, we're actually happy with. It's not economy, but we're fine with this. Right, Yorick's turn. Now, you've got this Frozen in Fear, which is gross. So your attack on the Stealthy Biaki is going to cost you 2 actions. That's fine, though. I think it's time to spend some ammo. 1 ammo. We're testing 4 plus 1 beat cop plus 2, 45 automatic, 7. 7 versus 5. It's not crazy, though. I'll say that. Prepared for the worst. 8 versus 5. Let's do this. -1. Success. Stealthy Biaki dies. We then use an... Perhaps we should save evidence for a higher shroud location. Or maybe it's just better to... No, we save evidence. We save it for a higher shroud location. Next turn, Akachi... Well, the organist is going to come onto us, and then we could spend clues to evade him quite easily. And then Akachi could get 2 clues at once with Rite of Seeking, but then she'd have to stay in Pierre Lachasse. Whoever investigates this next turn has to stay here another turn. So using an evidence would just leave 1 clue on here. We'd be giving away a victory point if we left. And this is weird, but I think we do use it. It's probably stupid, but let's get a clue. I don't want to get bogged down in Pierre Lachasse Cemetery, that's all. Right, that was 2 actions, unfortunately. Then for our final action, we could have recurred something. Some kind of asset. Knife? Well, we don't want to do that, really. So this time, let's get rid of knife, or discard it, not get rid of. Testing 7 again versus 2 this time, which is nice because it got evaded. 7 versus 2, anything but an auto-fail. It is an elder thing, this is good. The Stealthy Biaki dies. Dies. But unfortunately, we're all out of actions. And we recur knife here, of course. Right. Enemy phase. Oh. At the end of your turn, test 3 head. Well, we're testing 4 versus 3. Spend a guts on this. It's very important that we succeed. 6 versus 3. Let's go. -2. Cool. Get rid of Frozen in Fear. Also, happily, Draw a card. Oh, bury them deep. You are too kind. The upkeep phase. Evidence. Another one, that's interesting. Ooh, lost soul. If you have more conviction than doubt, that's what I do have. Test X head, where X is your book. Oh, so we're testing 6 versus 2. Fine. 13 to 7, this is getting too much. We can throw a charge on something. A charge on Rite of Seeking, I say. Disgusting stuff, disgusting stuff. Mythos phase. This guy, hang on. This guy should have moved once, moved twice, and engaged someone but not attacked, crucially. And then we can evade him any time, really. Right, Doom. Good, we are. 3 out of 5. Encounter cards marked by the sign. Test versus 2 head. We're 4 versus 2, that should be fine. We don't really care because 2 horror goes straight on Peter Sylvester. This card is crazy. 4 versus 2. Oof, -4, we definitely fail this. But we say that's fine. Yeah, he's not in play, that's fine. We put the 2 horror on Peter Sylvester, we're happy with this. Akachi draws, Hunted by Byaki. Test 6 boot. We're 3 versus 6. Let's try it. I don't think we throw anything at it either. -1, that's... We fail by 4. Reveal the top 4 cards of the encounter deck. Well, let's just have a look in here. Twin Suns, Spies of Carcosa, the Pale Mask beckons. Torturous Chords, none of them are a Byaki. So, but one of them is an Omen. That means we take a horror, put it on Holy Rosary, but thankfully we don't have to draw a Byaki. And we shuffle this encounter deck. Right, weird turn incoming. I think something strange has to happen. So the Organist is here, but weirdly... Oh! Okay. No new information has been revealed, right? You agree on that? On the hunt, we play that instead of the mask thing, instead of that 2-head thing that we had to deal with. This costs 1. Instead, search the top 9 cards of the encounter deck for an enemy and spawn it engaged with you. Now, there was a Screeching Byaki on the top 9 cards when we looked with Akachi, but let's see what happens. Ooh. Okay, I can't click it on this screen, I see. Search the top 9 cards. Right, yeah, because... What I'm going to say. Because there was a Screeching Byaki, and you can go back in the video and check. I saw it when we were checking for Akachi's revelation effects. We're going to draw the Screeching Byaki with this on the hunt, because it would have come out. And interestingly, there's hardly any enemies in this encounter deck. Right, Screeching Byaki comes engaged with us on that Mythos phase, and shuffle the encounter deck. Now the reason we did this, and this is pretty cool, we have an evidence. So, it says here, after you successfully investigate Pierre Lachasse Cemetery, you cannot leave, right? So we don't want to investigate, but what we can do is get a free clue with an evidence. Very, very exciting, actually. Well, not exciting because I have found a way to kind of disrupt what the game wanted to do with us, I guess. So, we tried to deal with Screeching Byaki in 2 actions. 2 is the fewest we can do it in because we haven't got a vicious blow. Also, we don't have to... You know what, in the interest... Well, no, because no new information was revealed. Let's take that horror damage off Peter Sylvester. That came from the encounter card that we got rid of with On the Hunt. Right, it is very, very important, imperative, some might say, that we kill Screeching Byaki and move away. Now, how to do that is the question. Well, it's only 3. With a knife, we're testing 7. With the 45 automatic, we're testing 7. So anything but an auto fail for both of these attacks is a successful turn for us. This is the last enemy, isn't it, in the encounter deck, so we can just spend this ammo. 1 ammo spent. 7 versus 3. Anything but an auto fail, cracking. 2 damage, Screeching Byaki. He doesn't... I was just checking the sanity clause here. No, that's fine. 1 action. What are we going to recur, by the way? Don't really need to recur anything with the investigator ability. Right, 2nd ammo goes in, and we are testing 7 versus 3. -1. Screeching Byaki dies. We also... A non-elite enemy at your location. It wasn't elite? Correct, it wasn't. We throw Bury Them Deep in. We also throw evidence in to get this final clue. I'm really happy with that. I feel like I've done something right. We then move 1 location away to Lamarai with our last go. This historic district has recently become less aristocratic. but the old architectural masterwork remains. 3 shroud and 2 clues, no victory points. As a reaction, when your turn begins, if you are in Le Marais, draw 1 card. Beautiful. Yorick will be, well, he needs it as well, look at this. Throughout the region, you cannot shake the feeling that you're being watched. Something along the rooftops ducks just out of sight each time you peer upward. Ooh, gross. Right, Akachi does. She spends 2 clues to automatically evade this organist. She then, there's no reason to stay in Père-Lachaise. She then moves to La Marais. She then moves once more to Notre Dame. So that's 2 actions. We don't play a delve too deep, that would be ridiculous and insane. But we do reveal Notre Dame, the most famous cathedral in all of Paris, and one of the finest examples of Gothic architecture in the world. Notre Dame de Paris, Our Lady in Paris, is an icon of the city. Light shines out from its stained glass windows, and you can hear a pipe organ inside blaring a bizarre, chaotic melody. 3 shroud, 2 clues, no victory point. Each enemy here gets -1 fight and +1 evade. You can spend an action to test 6 head. If you succeed, place a doom on the current agenda. We can only do that once per game. Right, that was 2 actions. What to do for our final one? No point getting a shriveling out. No point getting an arcane initiate out either. Do we use a... Well, there are negative symbols. Alright, grotesque statue, use a charge. It's the last one, unfortunately. We're testing 7 versus 6, because we're going to commit an arcane initiate. 7 versus 6, is that good enough? We don't care about the bulletproof vest, so we can test 8 versus 6 twice. Let's do it. +1 is obviously a success, but can we get an elder sign? No, okay, we take the +1. We succeed on this, we get to place a doom on the current agenda. Cool stuff. Guess actually we should have waited, because is this going to let us evade automatically again, like the first one did? Well, we don't know. It would be quite a risk to take if we waited. Anyway, Akachi's turn is finished. We added the doom, this is good. Now for the enemy phase, nothing happens. Upkeep phase, Organist gets readied, scarily enough. 45 automatic on Yorick, useless, and emergency cash on Akachi. Not useless, but not exactly what we'd want to see, I think. The Mythos phase, we are 5 out of 5. We turn this over. Agenda 2B. A red sun rises. To your relief, the sun once again begins to rise, peaking just over the eastern horizon and casting long shadows across the city streets. You are completely exhausted from the night's events. It feels as though you haven't slept in weeks. Perhaps you haven't. Okay, so it did give us a free evade again. I would say that's a shame. We didn't know it was coming, so we couldn't have played into it, but next time we do, we can make much better use. Check the campaign log. If Jordan Perry is, well, we did slay him, so that's fine. Agenda 3A, the third night. On the evening of your third night in Paris, a desperate resolve stirs within you. This cat and mouse game cannot go on any longer. One way or another, this night will end it. Okay, 5 doom to move that on. Can we accelerate that somehow? We have 6 clues total. We'll spend 2 evading the organist with William Yorick, no doubt. That will take us to 4 clues, which is 2 doom effectively. And then there are 2 clues down here, 2 on Notre Dame, 2 on Opera Garnier. We're not going to get La Marais, I think. Oh! William Yorick gets to draw a card because he's here. Nice. Oh, it's another Peter Sylvester. Not exactly what we wanted to see. To be honest, with Peter Sylvesters, with 2 of them maybe, Yorick can basically tank the organist every turn, only taking 1 horror total. Wow, okay. Well, it's good to know. Anyway, encounter cards. Twisted to his will. There is no doom in play, so this gains surge. Swift Biaki. Oh, more enemies. I thought we were out of enemies. 2, 3, 2. Hunter Retaliate. When Swift Biaki would move via the Hunter keyword, instead move it until it enters its prey's location. Right, if it moved more than 1 location by this effect, it does not attack this phase. Similar to the Organist then. Okay, fine. Torturous Chords again. We test 6 versus 5 and we simply hope for the best. Oh, come on. 14 out of 7. This is too much. Let's put a charge on Grotesque Statue. Okay, investigation. Yorick needs to kill Swift Byakhee. We throw away a knife, or do we use our ammo on 45 automatic? Yes, we use the ammo. We are testing 7 versus 2. And we get to ignore retaliate because of the 45 automatics upgraded thing. Ignore the retaliate keyword. Cool. 7 versus 2, -3 success. Swift Byakhee well, he doesn't just die. We'd have to kill Beat Cop to kill him. Do we care about killing Beat Cop? Not really. We kill Beat Cop, fine. We kill Swift Byakhee, and we don't have the money to recur anything, so we don't care. Actually, we could put 2 knives into play. We could bring this knife instead of the 45 automatic. Yes, that's what we'll do. First action on William Yorick. Second action. Where and what? Put his cherished keepsake into play. Second action. And then for our third action, we stay here and we draw. How many emergency caches in here? None left. Okay. So we would rather, let's shuffle this up. We would rather stay here and get a resource. Is that right? Because we want to play 2 Peter Sylvesters, then we can almost indefinitely, tank the organist. Let's do that. Final action done. For Akachi's turn, she would like to get clues to move the agenda deck on. Can she get clues here? Yes, she can. She'd also like to play a Delve Too Deep, realistically. Let's play the Delve Too Deep first. It's a bit risky. One action, we draw on Yorick. The pale mask beckons. We don't care about this. The man in the pallid mask, we put him all the way over in the Grand Guignol, and we just ignore him, I believe. Fine, and Akachi draws a Deadly Fate. We're testing 6 versus 3. We really should be alright with this 6 versus 3. -1, we are indeed. Fantastic stuff. For our second action, we would like to Rite of Seeking and a grotesque statue charge to clear out Notre Dame, or hope to clear out Notre Dame. 1. Well, that's a symbol, that's not good. Although, it is a symbol which means we succeed. Anyway. Balls. That's horrible. Okay, we get the clues. Fine, I guess, fine. We get the clues, but unfortunately we do lose all our actions. Gross. And that's our turn finished, unfortunately. Enemy phase. The organist moves 1 over, engages Yorick, and does 3 damage to us. 2 on Peter Sylvester and 1 on Cherished Keepsake. And we'd rather keep our clues to move everything onwards, right? Hey, in fact, if we spend all our clues now, we have, 8. We have 8 clues. That's 4 doom. Get rid of all the clues. And then, check this out. So the enemy phase is finished. We took the damage. Upkeep phase. We drew. Ever vigilant. And angered. Oh my god. Oh my god, that is disgusting. Okay, well, it's new information. I'm not going to take it back. Ah, you bastard. So we have no way to resolve angered spirits before the end of their scenario. Akachi's going to take another physical trauma. Oh, that is horrific. Then the Mythos phase, we added Doom, and it flips over this. Agenda 3B. Dawn at last. The sun rises and dispels the darkness. A warm fog envelops the city, blotting out the sky. We have more conviction than doubt. We advance to Act 2B. Ooh, okay. So the game isn't finished. Oh, the game is finished. Shepherd's Crook. You lose track of yourself within the city as you flee for your life. Your feet move of their own accord. The beating of sinewy wings and screeching of creatures above you spurs you onward. Soon you find yourself running down a narrow avenue. Passing a set of heavy iron gates, you are in a dead end. A court of tall, old houses on either side. You turn back toward the entrance and breathe a sigh of relief as you see the sun rising once more over the skyline of Paris. As though dispersed by the sunlight, the figure that had been chasing you folds into the shadows and vanishes. Just as you're about to leave, you spot a plaque next to a red-brown door atop a steep, narrow staircase. It reads, N. Engram. Now, I've just realized N. Engram sounds a bit like anagram. Is that the point? So, what's an anagram of Nigel Engram? I'm going to come back after I've had a go at working it out. Okay, funnily enough, I think I've led myself on a wild goose chase. I couldn't find anything in my own attempts to anagram solve it, and then all that came out was like manor and German and I think it said manager, but manager has 2 A's, so that doesn't even make any sense. I tried engram. So, absolute rubbish. What am I talking about? It's not an anagram, though it seems like that would have fit quite nicely in the Cthulhu mythos. Check the campaign log. I didn't intrude, I'm sure of that. We go to R1136. You can only assume this house belongs to Nigel Engram, the director of the King in Yellow. At last you have finally found your quarry, and yet it is little relief to your straining sanity. You feel like a dog being led by a leash, your fate decided by a cruel master who has long kept you in the dark. You push these gloomy thoughts to the back of your mind and knock on Mr. Engram's door. There is no response, but a flock of magpies that scatter from the rooftop at the sudden noise. You try the doorknob, hoping you won't have to resort to more forceful measures. To your surprise, you find the door unlocked. Inside, Nigel's home is a mess of notes, old books and strange diagrams. Covering the coffee table in his living room is an old faded map, bearing many fold creases and tattered edges. It looks to be an incomplete map of the catacombs beneath Paris, or at least a section of it. The food in his pantry is old and rotten. There is no sign of anyone having lived here for years, and yet the ink upon the living room walls is wet and fresh. Over and over, across nearly every inch of the wallpaper it reads, "He is already here." Record in your campaign log that you found Nigel's home. I succeeded. Remove all cultist, tablet, and elder thing tokens from the tablet from the token bag. Let's get rid of the elder things and put in 2 cultists. Jordan Perry, we already slain him long ago, doesn't matter. Each investigator earns experience equal to the Victory X value of each card in the Victory display. That will be 8. We have succeeded, and I will see you in scenario 6. The Pallid Mask. 144 it was. Next time.